Hi everyone, it's Isabella here and welcome back to the channel. So today's video, we are talking about a very interesting current event. As you guys know, I cover problematic company scams, just anything interesting, deep dives, history, you name it, we cover on here. There was a submarine that was going to go down with several passengers to see the Titanic wreckage. There's a lot of things that were going on with it, and me, naturally, I like falling down the rabbit hole of things when it comes to companies and like, how did we get here? Because for me, when I see a situation like this, and with how problematic it already was looking just from the surface level, I already was like, there has got to be a history in this company that is horrific. There's got to be some problems. There's got to be some legal issues. There has got to be a rabbit hole that we can fall down to. And boy, did I find out some shit. So we're going to dive into the entire problematic dark history of the company. We're talking lawsuits. We're talking this has happened before. The amount of things that I found out about this entire OceanGate situation is absolutely insane. So buckle up, get ready, grab a snack because we have a bunch of shit that we have to talk about. So let's get into it. First of all, though, again, for some of my people who are brand new and have no idea what the hell's going on, let's give a really quick recap. When it comes to OceanGate, they are known taking people down to go see the Titanic. So the Titanic wreckage is a really fascinating thing. I know, for example, I had an intense hyperfixation on that shit when I was a kid. I don't know why. It's around a little over $200K in order to go like per ticket. So it is a very expensive thing to go on. So the average everyday person is not going on this shit. Okay. We're talking rich people where the 200 plus K is like buying a coffee to them. That's how rich these people have to be usually to go on something like this. Okay. So they literally get into this type of submarine. I'll have some pictures pop up over here. It is a very long ways down. It's exceptionally dark. And honestly, they don't even get to really see a ton of the Titanic. Like you're there, but you aren't like fully seeing it like lit up. Because again, like it's pitch black down there. So it's kind of like a, what can I do that poor people can't do? That's honestly exactly what I take this. Okay. So people will go here and there, sign contracts with OceanGate. It's a very, very expensive, high profile situation that you have to go through in order to go down on here. So OceanGate has been around for a actually good long time. And here's the deal. When it comes to submarines going down to that depth and checking things out and exploring the ocean, that's awesome. I love that. I think it's cool as fuck. Here's the problem though. When we put people on and when we put people over profit, when you are in no way equipped to do so. So let's get into some of the crazy shenanigans and let's start off with the lawsuits, the bare minimum lawsuits. Okay. So we're going to go back in time a little bit, back to 2016. Mark and Susan Hagel were a couple that wanted to go on to the infamous OceanGate submersible to go see the Titanic. All right. Looks like it was part of the bucket list and they had fuck around to find out money. So whatever. Now they have to really go through and talk to an individual by the name of Stockton who is the CEO that actually went down on the submersible known as the Titan, which has been literally all over the news. So anyways, they talk with Rush. They've been discussing what they want to do when they want to go down. And they ultimately made an entire plan of they were going to pay certain amounts of money here and there, building up to the actual date where they were going to go down to see the Titanic. And, you know, they had contracts, lawyers talking, that kind of shit, right? They had to give a deposit of around $10,000 per person, which, okay, that's small compared to how much you actually have to pay for it, but whatever. It looks like they had more incremental payments that they had to make before going on the trip, additional payments that they had to spend that were around $40,000 as well that were getting closer to the trip. So as they're getting closer, they have to pay a little bit more. So allegedly there were certain things happening with this submersible as they're paying for this. So they were getting ready and working on it to take someone down. So it wasn't even ready for them apparently, which first of all, let's get this out of the way now. I am not getting on a Campbell's soup can to go visit some wreckage thousands of feet down. I'm not even doing that. I'll throw up and cry. I can't too. I would want it to be used a little bit. I would want some other people to go down. I don't want to be the first test run. See, I talk about this as if I would ever get on this thing to begin with. Then after, they had to drop $55,129 before their trip. So then they said the submersible was supposed to go down with them. It wasn't even ready by the time the trip date was set, which is like so stupid to me. So they were paying money and it wasn't even ready. Okay. OceanGate started canceling on this couple several times, talking about like, oh God, we're not ready. Oh, well, we haven't really done enough safety protocol. So like, we really can't do this. And they kept pushing off another year, essentially every time. So naturally the couple's like getting really annoyed. Like, fuck are we doing, Rush? And then Rush decides to go over to their house and say, hey, look, this is what we're doing. Promise we're working on it just for you. We're going to get it done. Here's the new date. If you want a refund, you can get it later. But right now, now we're really close to making this stuff a-okay for you to go see this damn ship at the bottom of the ocean. The couple decide, okay, you know what? We'll hold off a little bit longer. I mean, I get it though. They really wanted to go, so they held off a little bit longer. We hit to 2018 where they get brand new contracts. So these new contracts were apparently saying how they needed to pay all of the money up front now. And even though they already signed different contracts previously that said they're going to do like incremental payments, which is okay, whatever. They said, it, why not? Signed it, wired over $200K to Rush and OceanGate, and was ready to go. Essentially, they had all their payments done. They were good to go, right? Literally still after that, OceanGate kept sending cancellations and requests to push off the adventures further. Really, just from this lawsuit alone, looking at it and just the information that I was able to read, it sounds so insane how such a rich individual who has access to resources can't have a fucking set date, for crying out loud, and make sure everything is ready when promised, which, and this honestly, in my opinion, just from this alone goes to show you that just because someone is rich does not mean they're smart. They have access to resources and sometimes they don't even utilize them. So this guy already, in my opinion, is a scammer, okay? He already had problems. He already was just a problematic individual to begin with and was too cocky for his own good, thinking he could just accomplish all of these things, and foreshadowing, it did not go well. It was rescheduled for them to go in 2019, canceled again, 2020, canceled again. So finally the couple was like, okay, we're done with this shit. We want a refund. We're done with this. We're not doing it anymore. And OceanGate said, oh, you're not going to get a refund at all. A refund for them not going on something. That is what we call a scam over here, my man. So the couple decided to file a lawsuit, and they were looking for the typical damages, attorney costs, court costs, you name it, because again, like, they literally had a crazy amount of money taken for them. Honestly, all they asked for was a total of $210K, which is low compared to what they paid, but they wanted some of that back, and there was no comments or anything from OceanGate's side. It sounded like they were really silent during this time and wanted to just kind of quietly handle this and no big deal, which is so fascinating to me because something as big as this, I feel like, should be aired out, and it's absolutely horrible timing how stuff like this is finally getting aired out after a tragedy. Now, this next lawsuit is where we get real messy. This isn't somebody who decided to buy a ticket and opt out. This is someone who physically worked on OceanGate and called years ago that something really bad was going to happen. So again, going back to 2018, let's talk about David Lockridge. So according to this article, Lockridge was the director of marine operations for the Titan project, which the Titan is the submersible that went missing and was mainly used a lot of the times for different expeditions for OceanGate. His role included overseeing safety on this vessel, which is extremely important. In 2018, he was fired by OceanGate after he expressed concerns about the submersible safety. That same year, the business launched a lawsuit against David, alleging that he breached the terms of his employment agreement by disclosing sensitive material with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration when he lodged a whistleblower complaint with the organization. So David literally said, I'm going to tell people what's going on, as he should. We like people who air out problematic stuff on this channel. OceanGate sounds like a horrible company because they decided to go and try and sue him for a breach of contract, which is ridiculous to me, okay? I'm sorry. I don't really care if you're signing a contract. If something horrible is happening, I feel like you should be able to air it out. This is about people's safety. And also, if like we're being logical here, David was airing this out for safety, not just for other people who bought tickets, but for also Rush and other people who would be on that submersible. That's a huge thing that could hurt absolutely anyone, and that's terrifying. Now, Lockridge actually decided to file a countersuit though, and this is where more information gets aired out. So David claimed in his lawsuit that he had asked OceanGate to carry out more hull testing after expressing, quote, worries about Titan's safety. Now is the time to properly address items that may pose a safety risk to personnel. Verbal communication of the key items I have addressed in my attached document has been dismissed on several occasions. So I feel now I must make this report so there is an official record in place. At that time, David had requested the Titan's hull needed to undergo non-destructive testing to confirm that it was solid and safe product. So here's for some of you guys that maybe have no idea, because full transparency, I know a lot about the ocean in this way until I dug into this. So if you guys don't know, the pressure down to that level and depths of the ocean is insane. Okay, that's why the conversation of imploding was happening. Implosion is literally like everything will essentially go like poof, bye-bye, and just if your body cannot function in that level, essentially glitch out of the world. You are going to disappear, melt away. There's not going to be anything left of you if you're in something that implodes, okay? There's literally not that many pieces of equipment and submersibles that are capable of going that deep. That is how deep and much pressure is in this area of the ocean. That's how intense it is. So when you're going down, literally the smallest leak can bye-bye. I'm just being real here, okay? I'm not trying to be like morbid. Like that's just literally logically speaking, that's what will happen. The smallest leak, anything, bye-bye. You can't even, like your brain can't even comprehend what's happening. So that's why testing like this is so significant, because it's not like you just going snorkeling or scuba diving. Like we are at different depths and levels that you need safety protocols. Like this is why this stuff is so intense. So continuing on though, David said that he was informed that such testing was not practical and OceanGate would instead rely on their highly praised acoustic monitoring system, which apparently was supposed to be monitoring everything within the ship. And they didn't need to do extra testing because we have all these cool little gadgets that are going to let us know if something goes wrong, which is ironic to me because if something goes wrong and you can't go up to the surface fast enough, you're kind of like, I don't really. David expressed concern that the system would only give milliseconds of notice prior to a catastrophic implosion, since it might not detect problems until the ship is plummeting. During one meeting, he actually discovered that the viewpoint was only built to a certified pressure of 1,300 meters. And if you're going to go down 4,000 meters, you are asking for a problem. And so apparently they fired David because he literally kept saying, there's a problem. People are going to die. You aren't going to be able to react if there's an implosion. You also can't just swim up to the surface. You're gonna die. Like no one will survive that stuff. And so hearing that alone and hearing David reporting these things and honestly it not getting aired out earlier is so alarming and shocking to me. And I think this also goes to show this is why talking about dangerous companies, shitty things, shitty people is important, because if we can build a history on what's going on, more people can be aware and realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't be involved with this or go do something, because people get hurt, whether it's financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, you name it. And this was something that was so severely avoidable. Now, the next part that I want to talk about that I kind of found bits and pieces of across the internet was just other problematic things when it comes to OceanGate, its CEO, and so much more. Rush, the CEO, has actually vocalized that he doesn't like hiring people that are older or more experienced. And he talks about how he likes to have younger people that he hires specifically. And he wants to make a change and make an impact. And since he's quote unquote doing things new, he should hire younger people because it just makes more sense. But this quote is honestly fascinating to me because from the way that he has handled safety protocols in the company as in general, it would not surprise me if they would hire younger people in hopes that the younger individuals would be more naive and not know better. Because if you hire someone who's younger trying to learn from you and the company is shitty in itself, someone's not going to call you out. Whereas if you hire a 50-year-old who has had insane experience in this and clocks the problems, then that's not going to work out and you're not going to have yes men around you, apparently. Now, here's the next part that was utterly shocking and horrific to me was the absolute build of the submarine. So if you guys don't know, the build of the submarine is a really fascinating thing to watch, but the more that we look at some previous documentaries and clips that were filmed while they were building the Titan, the more just shocking and insane it was. Like their literal camera crew actually was just so off-put at the entire situation. So the CEO actually goes to talk about where he bought or got some of these parts for the submarine.
Captain Rush, I'm the CEO and founder of OceanGate. Let's take a look at Titan. So we're coming into the sub. This is the only toilet available on a deep diving submersible. Best seat in the house. You can look out the viewport. We put a privacy screen in, turn up the music, and it's very popular. We have our control screen here, our sonar screen here, and we can put any image we want in the back. We've taken a completely new approach to the sub design, and it's all run with this game controller and these touch screens. So if you want to go forward, you press forward. If you want to go back, you go back. Turn left, turn right, go down, go up. And it's Bluetooth, so I can hand it to anybody. And it's meant for a 16-year-old to throw it around, and super durable. We keep a couple of spares on board just in case. This is the second year we've been out to the Titanic. We went out in 5 8-day missions. We did about 10 dives to the wreck site of the Titanic, and we did an extra dive on an undiscovered reef that we found. Completely privately funded operation, and we're funded by, we call mission specialists who help support the mission. So they take quite a bit of money to come and join us. Years ago, the Russians took tourists out to the Titanic, and it was just sort of a look and see thing. We really are focusing on the science around it. We want to document what the wreck is like now, and also try to predict what it'll be like in the future.
I would really like to know where the audacity has come from. Now, this next part that also freaked me out too was there was some other documentaries about OceanGate, and I just kind of want to show you guys just the way that they talked about it and showed how they built it, how they were approaching the entire situation. Just let me play you some of this because this just feels very uncomfortable to me for how they talk about how quickly they got it built.
You believe the Cyclops 2 is pretty much invulnerable.
By the time we're done testing it, I believe it's pretty much invulnerable.
And that's pretty much what they said about the Titanic.
That's right. And I will go on all the first dives, put my money where my mouth is.
Couldn't help noticing how many pieces of this sub seemed improvised.
We can use these off-the-shelf components.
I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on! It seems like this submersible has some elements of MacGyver-y jerry-riggedness. I mean, you're putting construction pipes as ballast.
I don't know if I'd use that description of it, but there's certain things that you want to be buttoned down. So the pressure vessel is not MacGyver at all because that's where we work with Boeing and NASA and the University of Washington. Everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go.
An additional problem is OceanGate has literally had other countless issues with their previous expeditions. Many. First of all, it appears that they have a major history of canceling, whether it's problems with their submersible, problems with the company, just overall pushing off and giving people a very bad experience in general. So they have a track record of unethical behaviors, and apparently they have a track record of scamming people out of money. Now, OceanGate also has had an issue with getting stuck, even having problems. There was actually one point where they went down for an expedition and they actually got stuck and couldn't get back up for a while. Like there was no signal, no nothing. Like they got disconnected and were stuck for several hours. Finally were able to get back up, but they were stuck. And the people that were on this expedition actually spoke out and were like, this happened to us before and we were scared it was going to happen and like people were going to die. One quote that I want to read off that is, again, horrifically terrifying is, OceanGate last year took CBS News' David Pogue for a dive on its submersible, but called off the trip due to an equipment malfunction after descending only 37 feet. Yeah, in a later dive, the vessel lost contact with its ship and couldn't find the wreckage. We were, quote, lost for 2.5 hours, said a passenger who spoke with CBS News. And additionally, one other thing I want to point out is Russia's literally vocalized and gone on saying how he has, quote, broken some rules and cut some corners to make this happen. Now, he actually told a travel blogger in 2021 he wanted to be known as an innovator who broke the rules. Quote, I think it was the U.S. Army General Douglas MacArthur who said, you're remembered for the rules you break. And you know, Rush added, I've broken rules to make this. I would like to let y'all know, regulations and rules are not always meant to be broken. There's also a level of regulation that needs to be in place for many things, okay? This is why we wear our seatbelt when we're driving, you know, to keep us as safe as possible. This is why there's a speed limit. Yeah, this is why certain companies need to have regulations and qualifications in order to run, you know? This is also why a submarine should have regulations, otherwise people will die, which is already horrific, but the fact that we even have to say that is insane to me. And the fact that he's been caught vocalizing this stuff is just, this wasn't a tragic thing of like, we didn't see this coming. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anyone to die, period. I think it's horrific. What I'm saying though is this, like, this was a problematic thing, a really bad history already. Problems, lawsuits, jokes about not going through regulations, suing for employees, all of this stuff, it was bound to happen. And that is a horrible thing. But the fact that we can clearly see that this is avoidable, honestly, from what I can tell, is just honestly devastating because no one needed to die then. None of this was supposed to happen. And so kind of to wrap this up, I want to give you some final thoughts. Again, this is another horrible thing that goes to show that there's so much profit over people, which is just absolutely up to say the least, because it looked like they focused more on getting money and selling insanely priced tickets over actually caring for the safety. Now, if this is 100% safe or like exceptionally safe and properly regulated, then I'm sure this could have been, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't care how much you paid me even to get on that, I wouldn't, but it would be better if people wanted to because they would actually be safe. If you're not safe, this shouldn't be going on at all, period. And honestly, I hope that OceanGate just doesn't happen anymore. I hope OceanGate's company just shuts down entirely because this is a shitty, unethical company, in my opinion, and lives have been lost due to lack of safety protocol and so much more from what we can tell. Now, from what we were able to find out about this very sad situation was the fact that while it was going down, it appears that it imploded. They did end up finding a debris field in the water, so it looks like it was already going down and imploded so quickly that no one was able to do anything about it, and apparently they were just looking for them for a long time, and only then recently was the debris surfacing and actually coming up, so that way people could realize that it did implode. So with all this being said, this is a very shitty company. It's a very sad situation, but it's just another example of an unethical company that has a dark history. Sadly, it was too late for it to actually be aired out, so hope people could be avoidant of it. So hopefully, if OceanGate wants to keep going, this could be a lesson for many people to not go with them anymore, to not have any connection and not support them financially, because if they're going to care about your money and not your safety, you don't want to be a part of anything of that period. Now, let me be real here. I know that the average everyday people are not going to go with them. What I'm saying is, if even people who maybe are younger who want to work for them, don't do that. Maybe if you're somebody who, yeah, you do have money and come across this, don't go with them. I don't care. All right. Don't be the brave soul that wants to go after the tragedy. Let's just let this company disappear off the face of the earth because of this, because it's clearly not a safe company at all, in my opinion. So that was it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.